So let's enhance the missile implementation using strategy design pattern. First of all, we are going to add a few more classes or interfaces for missile and strategy pattern. Let's create a sub package just for missile under model. Let's create a new package called missile package there. Let me refactor into the package there. Then in this we are going to create classes or interfaces needed for strategy design pattern. So here missile animation strategy. So missile animation strategy is a strategy of the missile animation. So we need an interface for that. Here we are going to define animate method, so void animate. So that is common things about all concrete animation like a shooting or exploding animation. So in the missile, as a context, we need to hold the variable for a strategy. So let's define missile animation strategy variable, so called anim strategy. Let's define that. So one of the concrete animation is a missile animation and shooting when it's just launched from the shooter, which implements a missile animation strategy. So we need to override the animate. So when the missile is just launched, the animation, what we implemented is traveling along the path. So we are going to have that information. So basically, what we are going to do is when missile is created, the strategy, animation strategy will be missile shooting is the animation strategy we are going to do. And then when we update that, so currently state is shooting, then when it reaches the target location or when it got hit, we need to change the animation to exploding. So let's create another concrete animation. So missile animation exploding one implements a missile strategy, animation strategy, which implements a certain animate method for that. So here, when you update state, now the state is changing to exploding, so animation strategy should be now changed to exploding ones, the one. So when it's done, it will be just done and the like. So that's the one. And when we do update, we don't need to worry about those ones, whether what you want to do, we don't need to worry about. We are going to simply use a strategy, animation strategy, animate. This is the one. Depending on which concrete strategy is assigned, at the beginning, shooting animation, and then later exploding animation. So whatever is assigned will be used. So here we utilize a strategy pattern. So the strategies are then when shooting is done, what you need to do is in this part, depending on the angle, and then we need to do XY changes. So shooting animation is basically what we need to do is this part. So let me uncomment that. Is there. So something like this. But in this class, we need to have access to XY location of the missile. So when you call those animation part, we better pass the missile. So that's called the context. We pass the context. So we need to update the constructor of those ones. So here we take the missile as a context shooting. We are going to take a missile context there. Then let's have a context as a member variable there, and then let's store context down there. Then when you do animation, the target Y is a context target, and location is a context location, context target, context location there. Then here similarly, context location, context location, and the unit move is defined also in context. So just refer to context for each of those. Then shooting animation is implemented, and then missile will use shooting animation when it just begun. And then when we do explosion effect, we also need to pass the context there. So in exploding, we do similarly on the constructor missile exploding. We take a context there. Then let's store context as a member variable. Context store that. So for explosion effect, what we do is just change color and then update the size. That's a explosion effect. So exploding animation is simply to this one. Also the color is from context. There we need to import color class. Then incrementing size is also from context. Then that's taken care. So in the missile part, let's clean up the code. So here, instead of doing conditional ones, if, else if, do this way or that way, we just eliminate that part using strategy design pattern. Strategy design pattern is used for animation part. So depending on missile state, we use this animation strategy or that animation strategy. So this is the application of a strategy pattern for missile. So let's test it. Main program. In terms of how the program works, should be the same, but we just refactored the code using strategy design pattern like that. And then when missile hits the UFO, it should explode even before it reaches there.